high risk, that's where you get in high risk cattle. By the time they go through a sale barn, they pick something up or don't pick something up, you got to be on top of it. Get them home and get them vaccinated, get them. And
you're talking about picking up some kind of
respiratory or something.
Yeah.
That's what gets them.
Well, you want
shipping fever and all that kind of stuff.
You want to talk to them about how it's very important to make sure that they're weaned before you take them to the sale barn, because
well, that's just it. When they go to the barn, if they're not weaned, they're just going to stand and bawl
for their mamas.
Bawl.
Cry for their
all that damn dust is kicked up in there. They're getting it down their throat and stuff. And then, you know, in 4 or 5 days, they come up sick. You know, they're not going to be there. They look fine when you do that. But, you know, you can go home and you get your calves and get them in a place where you got to water them in tanks to begin with, and get them on feed. That's what I do. But I put tetracycline in the water. Get it from the vet, that powdered stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and put that in the water, and that takes care of it. Now, some of them guys just use that high-priced Baytril and Exceed antibiotic, you know, give them a shot, you know. But and you can do that, but I don't like to hem them up the first thing when we bring them in here.
Yeah.
I bring them in and I keep them in that pen, and I get them learning how to eat grain and stuff. Some of them know how to eat grain because a few weeks before we start weaning, I start putting them range cubes out there.
Right.
And they'll eat them range cubes, and then I put range cubes in the pen in there in their troughs. They'll pick them up. Then I go ahead and get them into eating these pellets. The range cubes is 20% protein, and the rest is kind of fiber. But you always want good hay, you know, when you're weaning calves and stuff. Good dry hay.
Right.
And get them eating that. Get them, like I say, in about a week or so, when they get all settled down and they're all coming to the troughs, and then run them back through and go ahead and vaccinate them then. Vaccinate them, castrate them, whatever you're going to do.